Hi, my name is Derrick Maddox. I'm one of the artists at Avenue 50 Studios Voices and Voices show. You excuse my Spanish. And I'm talking about my piece here, Sold. Basically, my work is about making objects that talk about the unspeakable, because there's a lot of issues that we get involved with that we really can't talk about face to face with certain people, because it would, just end up in conflict. And a lot of the times, I'm always trying to speak in my subcultural tongue, which is actually black culture. But in mainstream culture education, I'm forced to talk this other way. So with symbols, I'm able to just put it out there and let people draw their own assumptions, or the people who actually understand the metaphors that are used in the work. It's an investigation, because all these things that we talk about, these isms, racisms, and classisms, sexism, is always like this void, because we never get to the very conclusion of it, because there is no conclusion, because every person is both good and evil at the same time. So they'll manipulate the situation in order to gain some type of progress in society. So when we talk about gentrification, you'll meet a lot of people who are so-called liberal, but in their mainstream is about making money. So they'll do the Obama thing, let black people breathe, but at the same time going to buy up your neighborhood. Not necessarily saying that they're bad people at heart, but their main interest is greed and selfishness, because one of the reasons for the hood is because with gentrification, sometimes these very, very poor families are just forced to move with the little they have. And so the rusted thing is like, look, we got to make it happen any way we can. And the cardboard thing is for the homeless sign, because it's like, where do we belong if there's all these police shootings, if there's cops getting off on indictment. And if you look closely at the painting, I call it whatever, mixed media thing. The surface was a magazine cover that I scraped through. I was doing a transfer, and it's Abraham Lincoln, and then it symbolizes, black people's freedom. But at the same time, here you have this family, and it's all about the latest, greatest, newest thing. So it's all about acquiring. It's all about bragging rights. It's not even about do you have enough, right? It's all about what more can I, get to say, look, I have 40 houses and everyone's paying me rent, instead of staying in your own neighborhood. And then you come to these neighborhoods that have been established 40 or 50 years, and start imposing rules of what's right and what's wrong without even understanding the rules of those particular communities.
Yeah.
So, and so the white bread and the dollars, because white bread is like the most intangible thing. So you're talking about just like the dollar, it's a lie, you know what I mean? And it's the least thing, the least nutritious thing for you. And the pillars to me kind of represent like the projects, how black people are somehow forced to live in these contained communities and never express themselves. Anytime they start to thrive, then comes this gentrification. And it also happens in Latino neighborhoods where anything is what at this point is they're a majority, but somehow it's a subculture. Somehow we're subcultures. And the chicken foot on the right bread is like, you know, a metaphor for Malcolm X's when the chickens come home to roost, because you really see what's going on. Like, you can speak truth, but your actions speak louder. And with gentrification, you know, if you're not changing these things to build up the community, literally, at the same time maintaining its cultural integrity, you know, not every place needs a gelato. You know what I mean? You know, because we have our own cultural foods, and so why can't you know, and not every, you know, community needs a Starbucks. We have mom and pop shops. Why don't we support that? How are these corporate things coming in and it's just chaining us out? And then, you know, you get this corporate ethnic food, Panda Express and all this stuff. And so it's assimilation. We're always dealing with you know, distance. You know what I mean? Because the most people in LA only view people from color from either the car or the TV. You know, the experience of their food is never to go to these houses. They may go to a Chinese food, but that's more geared towards their taste. They go to Panda Express. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's what I like to end that on.